you know, I was working with a mentor, um, and we were talking about and trying to get creative around ways that we can scale. How do we grow? How do we take from what we have now to something different? And a lot of that at that point in time was me trying to identify what what it would be that could help people. And so it was kind of reflecting internally on things that would, well, what could help me in my business, and what is our industry lacking. And so the vision was really around training, and how do we train. So I would say the vision was much more broad at the beginning stages of, okay, I just want to help, and I just want to, and right now I can help by not just training my people, but also training the other contractors who are vocalizing the same concern and needs that I had. And so, you know, it was our industry doesn't have something for the residential repaint company when it comes to training. It's all only happening in-house, and if it's happening at all, it's only happening in-house. And there's a struggle with that because there's no planning really around it. It's just, well, you just go with this guy and you work with this guy and hopefully you will develop. But it just seemed like it was unorganized and it needed to be at a faster pace, because we're dealing with times where the trades are not as attractive for the laborer to get into. They're going to computers, they're going to other industries. And so how do we make our trade more attractive? And so that's where the idea started, is how can we be a part of that solution? And that's when we started talking about the vision to make a training platform that was reachable to the paint contractor.
And so when I shared with you my strategy to make that vision of yours come to life, not only for you and your company, but for your industry as a whole, what made you decide that that was the way to go, to work with me?
It really was, well, one, it was your belief in the vision, your authentic way of communicating that it could happen, and the confidence that you had with, I can help you make it happen. And then also the experience and the backing that you gave as an example, to prove that you've been there and done this, and it can happen. And so I really liked your example of your experience of developing your own course with the Project Management Institute, and even your credentials within that as becoming, I think you said you were the top 2 within the country, behind the military, on the course development, and that carried a lot of weight. So I just think that your experience and alignment of what you've done, it painted a picture of me starting to see that, okay, I wasn't even thinking this is how it would go, but I could totally see it going that way. When we first talked, it was like, okay, I'm just going to share with you what my vision is, and you were able to create a solution. As I am getting not just information on how the project is going, but I'm getting that mentoring and that coaching. So so that, that's the value added service that I wasn't even looking for, when we started working together. But I think that's what you're providing. That's above and beyond the scope of work.
That's what I believe makes the difference for me to really represent you and your company by getting to know you, you getting to know me. And it's more than just a transactional project, but being able to represent you and your vision fully, not just in pieces. That's how I look at it, to be able to make sure that I'm representing you as fully as possible.
I guess it makes you feel official. It makes you feel like you've accomplished something that you didn't have before. And so to be able to wear it, promote it, and the email signature line, it makes you feel like what you're talking about is valuable. And it's used a lot in conversations. It's kind of the backing and the proof behind what you're working on. So I think that's the value that it's brought is there's been effort and there's been work that's been accomplished, and now we can be recognized for that. If you work with Jacqueline and you work with her team at the Management Academy, you're going to be opened up to new ways and new ideas that whatever it is of the vision that you're working towards, it's going to blossom. And the vision is never wrong, which we've heard from, which I heard from my mentor. But how to get there can be kind of confusing, and I think that's where Jacqueline comes into play, and her team to really bring that pathway to get to where it is that you're trying to go. And there's a lot that goes into whatever project, and it's really a relief to know that you don't have to do it alone, that there's somebody else that has done something similar and is thinking about the hurdles. And so I definitely appreciate that about you, Jacqueline, and bringing that picture to life. It's exciting. It's fun to work on.
Well, I have one last question that you just sparked for me with your very kind comment is, did I need to know about painting to be able to serve you?
Nope, sure didn't.
That's a key thing that I know may have been on your mind, or typically is on the mind of those who I do projects for, is that, well, you don't know my industry, or you've not worked in my industry. But from a project management standpoint, it's the methodology that brings the expertise, and you bring your expertise of your particular industry. So